All right, folks, welcome back. This is Sheepdog Smoky, and we are just hurtling into the twilight zone at light speed. We have a crisis at the border, yes, but we have another crisis right now in this country, and that is that our supposed leaders are going so far off the deep end to include everyone that they're putting people in danger. This one, a Houston library allowed a sex offender to read to kids during drag queen story time. I can't stand even the picture of this. I am scrolling. But a registered child sex offender was allowed to read to children during the Houston Public Library's drag queen story time. Now, one, that any government does this is insane. I'm not really surprised that Houston did this, as Houston is the city where a city official threatened to jail pastors if they did not tell her in detail what they would be preaching about. A blatant violation of religious freedom. But we have this story where we have people who, one, dress up in drag. Now, this is not cross dressing. Drag is far different, and it is far more flamboyant. This is not simply someone who believes they are the opposite gender and dresses as such. This is someone who dresses flamboyantly. If you've seen Tolerance Camp from South Park, look at how the change in Mr. Garrison goes throughout the entirety of the episode until at the end he's literally riding another human as a horse and demands to be paid because he's being somehow restricted in his life. And people just praise him as so tolerant until it's finally beaten into them that they're the idiots. I don't know when or if we will ever wake people up to the simple fact that a child sex offender, someone who is on the sex offender registry, should not be encouraged to be around children. It's just insane. We know that this is just more and more common every day. This lunatic who promotes drag queen storytime claimed the idea is to promote love and acceptance. Rational and caring parents who understand that protecting a child's innocence, especially from things like adult sexuality, are suing the city to stop the madness. They claim the government is sponsoring secular humanism, which violates the Constitution's establishment clause on religion. This is a 6 foot, 200-pound sex offender who apparently managed to slip through the library's screening system. But I doubt that that was a slip. It was probably that this 6 foot male who has already been convicted of being a child sex offender likely told the library he would sue if he was discriminated against for his gender fluidity or whatever it may be this time. This has to stop, and it has to stop now. It has to be done full stop because we have children being put in danger. What if this person would have said that promoting love and acceptance meant that he should be able to touch the children, to make them touch him? We have instances recorded where someone identifies as female, who is later found to be photographing and recording young girls in the bathroom or in the changing room. We have instance after instance after instance where people game the system, yet we're told that we're evil bigots for opposing it. I know for a fact that the vast majority of Americans, if they were asked, would say they oppose this idiocy. But they stay silent because the media is weaponized against them. When you have a media that literally exists to destroy lives of people who do not conform to the system at hand, you have a country that is no longer free. Acosta cries about being attacked when people chant CNN sucks. Mika and Morning Joe complain about fascism of people wanting to boycott their network. Fox News caves to liberal trolls who demand Judge Jeanine Pirro be removed because she pointed out Ilhan Omar's blatant and public anti-Semitism. No, she did not insult, she did not lie. She simply pointed out that Ilhan Omar is an open anti-Semite, an open racist, and she was fired. And I can tell you right now, I will say it to Rupert Murdoch and anyone else in control at Fox, I'm gone. I'm very sorry that that's going to hurt people like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, but they're on your list too. When you do this, we know you'll be coming for the rest. And just like CNN or MSNBC or ABC News or any of them, your ratings will just dive bomb. Meanwhile, people like Glenn Beck, who you ran out of town on a rail, start their own ventures and prosper. They do very well. Yes, sure, you invite the people you hate onto some of your shows only to castigate and insult them on national television. What will happen when you can't get anyone to come on your shows? What will happen when you can't force us to watch? What will happen to the Houston Public Library when parents return their child's library card, return their own, and Drag Queen Storytime has an audience of 0? I can tell you what will happen. CNN, MSNBC, the Houston Library, they will complain about bigotry. They will complain about sexism. They will complain about fascism, of being forced into oblivion. They never will acknowledge that they demand that very thing be done to Fox News, who ironically is actually following suit. They didn't even acknowledge that there were members of the Fox News staff, on-air talent, that defended Jim Acosta when his hard pass, not his ability to request one every day, just his hard pass was revoked. They don't acknowledge that the people they hate actually try to help them in some scenarios. They don't acknowledge it at all. They simply tell us that we are required to tolerate things. Then they tell us, well, tolerate doesn't mean what it means. Tolerate means go to it, support it, help it become bigger. We know that the LGBTQ community is an infinitesimal minority in the country, yet we're told that there are rights only they have. I don't have the right to go to a Muslim-owned bakery and demand a Christian-themed cake be specially made for me. Yet a gay couple can drive past multiple other bakeries to one that they had to have known, and after the first event they did know, was owned and operated by a very devout Christian. A Christian man who said he would not make a special order for them. He did not deny them the sale of a pre-made cake. He simply would not use his talent to promote and to normalize what he believes to be is sin. They sued him. He has ultimately won, but his life is in shambles. Meanwhile, the public library in Houston can do this. They can tell the entirety of Houston that they must support this. It promotes love and acceptance. Well, I don't have to accept or love what I believe is an atrocity. I don't have to love or accept what I believe to be sin and evil. I don't have to love or accept anything at all. I tolerate it because I currently cannot force it to stop. To tolerate literally means to put up with. I wrote years ago the difference between tolerance and acceptance. You tolerate a crying child 2 rows behind you on an aircraft. You do far more than tolerate it when it's your own child in your lap or in the seat next to you. You may work to stop the child's crying, but if you fly with a child under about the age of 2.5 to 3, their ears are in agony because of the pressure changes. They know nothing about why it's happening. They just know they are in horrible discomfort, and they cry. All the passengers, save that child's parents, tolerate it. Some don't. But those parents work to help the child. They try to comfort the child. They do more than tolerate. So don't tell me that I'm intolerant, because I think this Houston Library program should never have started, and now that it has, I think it should be dumped in the trash heap. And I think this child sex offender who is registered as one should be put in jail for being near children. Don't tell me I'm intolerant, because I'm not. I'm logical. And that's the very simple truth of it. And that's the simple truth the far left liberals cannot stand is being spoken. We hear so much about how we must tolerate things like this. We must tolerate that Muslims are different. We must tolerate that atheists hate us. But they're not told they must tolerate me wearing a hat. If I was to wear this anywhere in California, I might be beaten to death. They're not told they must tolerate the fact that I have the same right to religious expression as them. They're not told they must tolerate that I have the First Amendment right to speak out against this program in Houston. They've been told all their lives that they are tolerant of me by trying to silence me. But I've talked about this long enough. Let me know what you think. We'll debate it. Keep it classy, keep it civil, and as always, keep your powder dry. You can find me here on Twitter. You can also find me here regularly. I am planning to do more and more of these as I have the time. Who knows, I may make this into a full-time thing. I'm also planning several other videos where I will actually be lecturing, as I did many years ago as a teacher. I will be looking at topics that are woefully undertaught by what is now a part-time teaching staff in the social studies department. But make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date and you get all the content here, and I will see you on the next one.